Hey, it is Friday. It is time for Friday Bullpen Sessions. My name is Andy Neary. Each week, I deconstruct my journey, my struggles through professional baseball to help unpack yours so you can live a life on purpose. I take the lessons I learned in baseball and help you apply them in business and in life. So if you're ready to join me, grab your glove, grab a ball, get ready to take the mound, and get ready to bear down to strike out the limiting beliefs in your life. All right, here we go. Hey, welcome back. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for Friday Bullpen Sessions. My name is Andy Neary, and this is episode 52. This week, I'm going to dive into how you, one human being, one individual, can create a lot of awareness and create a lot of social media content, and thereby giving yourself a ton of awareness for your brand and your business. I hear it every single day. Andy, I don't have the time. Andy, I don't have the budget. What I'm going to show you how to do is create a crap load of social media content on a limited budget with limited time. Listen, it's about consistency. You have to be committed to being consistent with putting yourself out there. And so many are afraid to put themselves out there. So if you struggle with that right now, if you know you should be on social media more, if you know you should be creating more content, but you might be stalled by the fact you think it's going to take a ton of time or maybe even a ton of money, this episode's for you. I'm going to debunk that myth, and I'm going to show you some steps you can take to start creating a lot of content right now. Speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, APN Consulting. If you are struggling with social media content, you're not alone. I talk to business professionals every day who are stumped by this. They don't want to put themselves out there. Maybe they're afraid to put themselves out there because they don't want to see the comments that somebody might post about their content or maybe even about them. If that's you, let's connect. I have a lot of business people right now taking advantage of my 90-minute strategy sessions. It is a recorded 90 minutes, giving you the clear plan of action that you need to go execute on so you can go start creating more content or putting a business plan in place or prospecting more. Whatever your needs are right now, today, these strategy sessions can help you give the clarity and the confidence you need to take the necessary action. So shoot me a note, shoot me a DM. If you need help, let's jump on a strategy session. Let's get it scheduled today. All right, back to today's episode. All right, this is an episode I was going to do last week. If you recall, on Friday Bullpen Session, episode 50, I was going to show you how to create 50 pieces of content for social media in 1 week as one human being. But I saved it. I saved it for this week. Now, we're not necessarily going to dive into how to create 50 pieces of content, but what I do want to help you with today is showing you how you can create a lot of content on a limited budget with limited time. Because again, I was there at one time when I wasn't creating any content for social media. I can remember sitting on LinkedIn back in 2015, 2016. I was writing some articles. I was sharing other people's content or maybe sharing an article that I had read on Forbes, Entrepreneur, or some health insurance industry electronic magazine. But I really wasn't creating that much content. Why? Because I thought it would take a ton of time. I didn't think it was part of building a business. I thought it was kind of a waste of time. And I thought it might take a lot of money. You know, so many of us out there right now are looking up at people who are at the top of their game on social media. Right away, I think of somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary probably creates more awareness for his brand and his business on social media than anybody on this planet. But you got to remember, Gary Vee has a team of 20 to 30 people who are solely working on his content, solely working on growing his brand. And there's others like that out there that have teams of social media content creators that are posting and creating their stuff every single day. Most don't have that. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is stop comparing what the people at the top, somebody like a Gary Vee, is doing on social media and thinking that that's what you have to do to create the awareness. No. I tell people all the time, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. You just need to get started. You're just opening your book right now to the first chapter. So what can you do to get started to start creating more content, start creating effective content, and then doing it frequently enough so you're creating a lot of awareness for your brand and your business. This is what I did back in 2014 when Amy and I moved to Colorado. You see, when I decided to go to work for a health insurance agency here in Longmont, Colorado, I quickly realized that I was moving into a new market where nobody knew who I was, right? And I was working for an agency at the time that wasn't doing a whole lot of marketing. And so I had to start growing my personal brand. Now, if you recall what I said just minutes ago, I didn't really get started on it right away. I got on social media. I really started trying to leverage my LinkedIn profile a little bit more. But at that time, it was mainly writing articles or an article or two every once in a while, sharing articles from other magazines, or just posting on or commenting on other people's stuff. I wasn't using Instagram. I was kind of using Facebook, and I really wasn't using Twitter at all. And so for today's context, I'm going to really use those 4 platforms for the context of this conversation to help you start creating a lot more content and teaching you how to create tons of different types of content, literally from one piece of content you create. I know that's saying content a lot, but that's what we're here to talk about today. So how do we do it? How do you go about creating a plan of action to help you create more content in less time on a limited budget? Well, let's dive in. I have 3 things I want to talk about today. Number 1, how do you create multiple pieces of content from one simple piece of content? That's strategy number 1. How you take one piece of content you create and turn it into multiple pieces of content that you can share on multiple platforms. So we're going to do a little math here. I want you to start adding things up. The first step you're going to take in starting to create awareness with content is this. Simply go to your iPhone, your Android, and I want you to record a 90-second, 2-minute video of yourself. And I want you to talk about yourself, teach something, share a strategy, share a tip, share an idea. And all you're going to do is when you're done recording that video, you now have one piece of content. You have a video. You could literally just take that video, go post it on LinkedIn, go share it on Instagram or in Instagram stories or Instagram TV. You could put it up on Facebook. And if it's under 2 minutes, you can throw it up on Twitter right there with one video. One video that you post on those 4 platforms, you have 4 pieces of content. So many people think about when I hear or when I say 50 pieces of content, you think you have to create 50 different pieces of content. No. Creating one piece of content on one medium, like a video, and posting it on 4 different platforms, that's 4 pieces of content. Now, here's where you can start creating multiple pieces of content from that video. Imagine now if you downloaded that video to your laptop and you went to an MP4 to an MP3 converter. So your video is on what's referred to as MP4. If you put it on your laptop, you could go to a free conversion website that literally takes your video and just strips out the audio, or what is known as MP3. And now you have an audio version of your video. So I can't see you, but I can hear you. You could literally just share the audio of what you said in the video. You could share it in a text. You could put it in an email, whatever. But now you have an audio version of your video. Right there, you now have 2 different mediums of content. You have a video and you have audio with exactly the same message. Now, here's how you can quickly create a 3rd piece of content from that video on one more medium that is out there, and that is written. If you simply take your video, plop a pair of headphones in, listen to your video, and as you listen to your video, you type out what you are saying, you could quickly turn that video into written content that now becomes an article or a blog. So there you have it. In one piece of content from a 90-second video, 2-minute video, you now have a video, you now have an audio of it, and you now have a written version of that same piece of content. Now imagine if you took those 3 different mediums, audio, video, and written, and you posted it on LinkedIn, you posted it on Instagram, you posted it on Facebook, and you posted it on Twitter. Literally with one video you created from your iPhone or your Android, you now have 12 pieces of content. If you did that every week across multiple mediums, across multiple platforms, you could easily create 20, 30, or 40 different pieces of content in 1 week. So that is strategy number one. Literally take your iPhone out, take your Android out, record yourself, then put it up on your laptop, strip it from the MP4 version of the video to the MP3 version audio, and then put some headphones in, put a headset on, type out what you said from your video, and now you have an article or blog. It's that simple. You could get that done all in 20 minutes. Now, let's talk about strategy number two. This is the what should I talk about or what should I post category of social media content. This is how you start hitting different areas of what you're going to talk about, and you become multifaceted with your content. This is a strategy I can't take credit for. It's a strategy I learned from colleagues, coaches of mine, but I do want to pass it along to you today, and that's this. It's about using different categories of content in your social media. So when I work with my clients, we talk about the 5 different categories of content. Number 1, personal stories. You have to start sharing more personal stories on social media. I have beaten this topic to death on social media. Selling is about who knows you, likes you, and trusts you. And if you share personal stories on social media, so it allows people to connect with you, you are giving them a chance to know you, and you're even giving them a chance to like you, which makes selling a hell of a lot more easier than picking up the phone and cold calling. So first category is personal stories. What stories could you share about yourself that can teach lessons to your audience? Second category, what I call this the pure value, pure teaching. You're going to go on social media, whether it's a video, a piece of audio, or written, an article and blog format, and teach something. Just flat out educate your audience, teach your audience 3 steps to blank, 3 ways you can blank. Just flat out teach people. That's the second bucket, the second category. The third area is the credibility corner. Have you won any awards? Have you been nominated for anything? Have you written a book? Have you been featured in a magazine? Have you been interviewed on somebody else's podcast? All the ways you could show your credibility. It lets the world know, hey, you're pretty legit. This is somebody I could trust doing business with. That they're showing up in a magazine, if they're good enough to be on somebody's podcast, this is somebody I think I could trust to do business with. So that third category is the credibility corner. So far we've got sharing personal stories, flat out sharing educational or valuable content. And number 3, you've got your credibility. What are things you could be sharing that show your credibility? Number 4, testimonials, case studies. Share wins you have created for your clients. Share case studies of how people who have worked with you have gone from failing to succeeding and how you helped them get there. I do this all the time when I'm coaching an individual client or doing our call on the Complete Game Mastermind that I have going on right now. I'll take pictures of us in action because I want to show the coaching happening as it's happening live and teaching about how people are transforming their lives through the coaching. You can do the same. Share testimonials from clients, share case studies of how your clients are winning right now and how you've helped them win, because all you're doing, again, is proving to the world, proving to your audience, you know what you're doing and you can help them win too. Now, the last bucket, the 5th bucket, this is the one most people are too afraid to do. I was way too afraid to do this for far too long. Or the flip side, far too many people do this far too often. The 5th category, the 5th bucket is the call to action. Yes, once in a while, you are going to post a piece of content that calls your audience to action. Maybe it's to schedule a call with you. Maybe you're hosting a webinar in the next week or 2 and you want them to enroll in that webinar. Or maybe you just want them to sign up for your email or text community. Whatever it is, that 5th bucket is going to be focused on calling your audience to take some kind of action. Now, again, a mistake I see too many make, like myself in the past, is You don't do it at all. You don't never create calls to action. Or the flip side is every single piece of content that's coming out of your mouth is a call to action. Follow the advice of Gary Vee. He wrote a book a few years ago called Jab, 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 Right Hook. That is give, 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 ask. Yes, once in a while you're going to make an ask, but not every single piece of content is going to be an ask. Once in a while, you just have to bring value. You just have to give. So let's review those 5 categories again. Number 1, it's personal stories. Share personal stories. Number 2, bring value. Create pieces of content that are just pure education. Number 3, you've got your credibility corner. Show some credibility. Articles you've been in, awards you've won, podcasts you've been on. Number 4, testimonials and case studies from successful clients. And number 5, calls to action. All right. Now, let's wrap up with the 3rd strategy that I have today. So far, I have showed you how to create multiple pieces of content within one piece of content you created, whether it was a video or a piece of audio. Number 2, I just shared the 5 different categories you should be posting across to create a ton of awareness. The 3rd area is the time saver, the money saver. If you are on a limited budget, here's the best thing you can do. Find a platform that allows you to schedule your social media content. Maybe you have somebody, a team that is already posting this for you. Perfect. But if you don't, there's many platforms out there you could be using today that are very inexpensive that allow you to schedule your content. Let me give you a quick example. For the last, 5 or 6 months, I had somebody who was posting my social media content. Her name's Amanda Brewer. I would create my content. I would send it off to her, and she would post the content every single day. Trust me, it was really nice to have. It took a lot of time off my plate. Unfortunately, I lost Amanda. Her husband blew up on social media, so she had to just work for JJ solely. So I had to bring the social media back in-house for the time being. So what did I do? I immediately went on the internet, and I found a platform that I trust, that I like, that allows me to schedule my content. I'm using Social Boo. That's Social BU. There's plenty of others out there that are great. Social Boo is literally $8 a month. But what it allows me to do is schedule my content across the 4 platforms I've been talking about: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So I can go in at the beginning of the week and literally schedule all of my week's content if I wanted to. So that is the last strategy. If you're limited on time, if you're limited on the budget, and you don't have the money to go hire people, go find a social media platform that you can use to schedule your content ahead of time so you don't find yourself rushing every single day trying to come up with content or trying to post it. Folks, this is how you create a ton of content with limited time on a limited budget. If you start by learning how to take one piece of content and turning it into multiple pieces of content, then posting on social media across the 5 categories of personal stories, education, credibility, case studies, and calls to action. And then you go find a very inexpensive social media platform so you can schedule your content ahead of time, saving you a ton of time and, quite frankly, a ton of money. You will start creating a ton of awareness for your brand and your business. Because I'm going to say what I've said before. If you do not have an online presence today in 2020, you are irrelevant. There is no other way around it. So you have to start putting yourself out there. It is as important as prospecting. It is as important as picking up the phone and cold calling. This is a way you can get your content in front of thousands of eyeballs, literally with one post. And it's the most effective way for your audience to see you consistently. So when the time comes, you do pick up that phone and call them back, it's a lot warmer and there's a lot higher chance they're going to take your call and take a meeting with you. Most people only contact prospects once every quarter, once every 6 months. But by being consistent on social media, your audience, your target prospects are seeing you over and over and over again, and you're bringing tons of value to them without asking them to buy anything. So when you pick up the phone and want to call and you want to talk, they're going to take your call, they're going to take your meeting, and it's going to make buying from you a hell of a lot easier than it is today. So That's it, folks. Go out and make it happen. I mean, this is 2020. It's about grabbing attention. You have got to start creating more content. You have got to create a ton of awareness for your brand, and you have to start standing out from the noise in your industry. And if you have any questions on how to create content, what social media platforms you should be using, you know where to hit me up. Let's schedule a call. Let's jump on a strategy session. But go out today, start creating content, start sharing across the 5 different categories I talked about, and most importantly, produce as much content as you can in the limited amount of time and the limited amount of budget you might have, folks. You're going to create awareness, you're going to create fans, and you're going to create a hell of a lot more business for you than you are right now. So go make it happen, because you know when clarity and confidence collides, action happens. Go make it happen today. Shift your mindset. Hey, thank you for taking the time to listen to this Friday Bullpen session. If you are enjoying these episodes, please do me a favor. Go over to Apple, subscribe, give it a 5-star rating. And if you know of anybody in your life, whether it's in your family, personal life, your friends, business colleagues that you think would find benefit in listening to these episodes as well, do me a favor. Please share the Bullpen sessions with them. I'd be extremely grateful if you did. And again, go out and make it happen today. Thank you.